I grew up in that period, obviously. The book is, I guess you could say, the most autobiographical that I've... And I used to tell stories about that period of time to my kids or to my wife. And it was my wife who kept saying, you know, you really ought to write a novel about that because people don't know those things anymore. You should. And then I spoke to an editor, and she was interested, but I was sort of reluctant. I mean, one of the things that is interesting about this is that if you grew up in that period, you were not terribly comfortable about talking about it because it was a little scary. That was, I mean, that's the culture of the time. People didn't want to talk. And so when I wrote the book, it was hard. I felt uncomfortable sometimes writing about it. And curiously enough, when in the first draft of the books, it was quite close to things that actually happened, or about my family, or this, that, and the other thing. And the book didn't work very well. And I began to retreat more into more fiction, and then I could write the book in a more effective way. And at the same time, take things which were true and change them and fictionalize them so that they had more power. So in the end, the family in the story, and it's very much, I think, a family story, is a work of fiction. It's not at all like my family. Oh, I had an older brother who could be sort of pretentious, the way older brothers can be, but a better example is the character, the blind man, who's so important in the story. When I was a kid, 13, 14, I had a job reading to a blind man. And I think I got the job through the Boy Scouts. They would say, oh, we have a job if somebody wants it, and so forth. And his name was Mr. Smith. Now in the book that's not his name. And I changed it because Mr. Smith seemed too ordinary. I didn't know if even people would believe it. But the point is, I didn't have a particular relationship with this blind man. It was a job. I mean, I hoped I did it well. But in the book, he's very, very important. And he's an interesting character, not the way I experienced Mr. Smith in reality. So I took that aspect that was real and turned it into something that's very important in the book, and I think very meaningful. I think the relationship between the boy and you know, the blind guy is really interesting and important. As interesting as his relationship to his father, and his relationship to his brother, and to his friend Cat. So I don't know. That's the way the book worked. So there are pieces of the book that are true, but on the whole, the work is a work of fiction. My description of classrooms and teachers, those are real. The description of the family, not real.